Here is another two-dimensional problem where we are going to convert 35 psi to a specified amount of kilopascals. You'll notice 35 psi is something you typically put in your car tire. So I'll give you an idea of where that's at in the metric system. Okay, so for starters, we need to realize that psi stands for pounds per square inch. And kilopascal stands for kilonewton meter squared. So now we have both of our units to talk about. So start with our map. And we know that pounds is on the top, inches on the bottom. Just how we have it shown right there. So, using our equation sheet, our reference sheet, it's the only thing you should be using, okay, in terms of context. We're going to go to pounds and newtons to kilonewtons. Alright? Going from standard to metric. Now we're going to do the same thing, but now we're going to do with the inches squared. Okay? So now we have that conversion from inches squared to centimeter squares that meets that requirement. And we know that when we get to the end, okay, we have our pound square inch and we have our kilometer squares. Those check out. That's what we wanted to see. So, when we come to our railroad tracks, I thought about this here talking to a student, stitches. I'm thinking stitches moving forward. Anyway, so not sure how many lines, so we'll see where it takes me. Okay. All right. So there's our track, right? And I think for starters too, just understanding where our heads are at. This side is always what's given in the problem. Given in the problem is that right there. Okay? So you know if you're starting on this side, you need to go from there that away. Okay? So then all these are your conversions coming from your reference sheet. So, we're going to just stick with the units. Stick with the units. So I'm going to draw this and let's see here. A little red. Okay, so just as it's indicated here, pounds has to be on the top. This is the same thing that we moved down here. So I'm going to put pounds on the top. So let's go ahead and just move that through that progression. So pounds on the top and pounds on the bottom, following this map. So newtons, newtons, kilonewtons. Just the units. Oh, well, you get the idea. Kilonewtons. Okay? So, going to our check here. Do we start with pounds? Yep. Do we end in kilonewtons? Yep. Alright, let's jump down to the bottom one. So, we'll use Butte Blue on this one. So, this one is inches squared. Okay, number one, notice it's a different color, and I'm doing it for a reason. Number two, notice it's on the bottom down here. I'm not sticking both on top. I'm not sticking one on the top down the road. It always starts like this. Okay, so if we follow our conversion sheet, inches squared on the bottom, boom, we get inches on the top to cancel, right? And then we have centimeters on the bottom, centimeters on the top, and meters squared on the bottom. Alright, so going back to our check here, okay, we've got our pounds, kilonewtons, inches squared, meters squared, inches squared, meters squared. We're done. That should be our peace of mind. That's our framework. Okay, we get that in, everything's downhill from there. All right, and I feel like I gave you multiple checks just because I'm a big math person, you know. Okay, so now we come back and just plug our answers in. This should be very, very straightforward, okay? Stick with the black on this one. So, 35 is always going to be what you're given. Okay? So, this part is always right there. I mean, it should just, automatic. Okay? So, moving forward, this is when we're going to plug this one in. So, this is, once again, using your reference sheet. All this information is on there. Okay, how are we looking? Okay, I know that's supposed to be a 4 right there. A sloppy handwriting. What you'll realize is that there is something missing on this one. And what I've done is that, and the reason I've done this before, if there's a square on the unit, there better be a square on the number. It's as simple as that. So these numbers need to have a 2 over them because they're squared. 1 squared is 1, okay? But that's the easiest part about trying to remember. You don't have to remember how many cubic feet are in 1 cubic meter. All you have to remember is 1 inch equals that. There you go, and then you can just keep these numbers. So you're always going to want to check 3 dimensions, 2 dimensions. That's kind of why this problem is the same as the 3 dimension. You just have a different exponent on it, okay? So, once we've checked, boom, 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 boom. I mean, we've done this 3 times over. We make sure our numbers go in there. This is a big reason, too, of showing all your work. Because if you make a careless mistake, I was huge into careless, but I still am. I can give you as most points as possible. And that's this whole idea, is giving you partial credit. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put bracket on the top. So 35. $4.45, and then okay, and on the bottom, now don't do this one because this is 35. Just worrying about these. Okay, so I think from that standpoint, we'll just say whatever x is equals calendar. So then whatever that is, you want to box your answer in. So that's what you put on the test. That's kind of the method of thinking, the line of thinking, what it is. Calculations, make sure you just use a whole rear end of parentheses if you want to do it in one scoop. You know, it's all how you want to do it. It doesn't really matter. But hopefully this will give you a better idea of the method and the line of thinking you should go through. And my chicken scratch is legible. So, fingers crossed.